think we're live. Hey there, welcome back. It's day 2. We are here. Justin Fox, Marc-Andre Colum, and Martin Baudouin Nadeau. We're here. It's the Trees of Lives. They launched their initial backers offering, or IBO, on the backers platform. I've got again Marc-Andre here with me, and today our special guest is Martin Baudouin Nadeau, who is the CEO, founder and CEO of Veritas Terra and Trees of Lives. But I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say, Martin, why don't you introduce, obviously welcome. Mark and I are going to be doing this for the next, I think, 30 days, every day, weekday, but welcome to the show. Why don't you jump in, introduce yourself, and then we can sort of, introduce who you are, and then I've got a bunch of questions we can talk a little bit about, but why don't you jump in and start talking a little bit about who you are and what's going on with Veritas Terra and Trees of Lives.
Excellent, Justin. Thank you for inviting me today. So I'm the founder and CEO of Veritas Terra. Started the business in 2015. Our goal was to bring a multidisciplinary team to fight the global problem of land degradation and also climate change. So we are a climate tech company that specializes in large-scale forest landscape restoration on degraded land. It's important to mention that nature-based solution has an important part to play in the fight against climate change. The experts say that about 37% of all the objectives of the Paris Agreement should be met by nature-based solutions. That include restoring forests or agroforests or degraded ecosystem, or conserving already existing ecosystem. And so with our technologies, with Veritas Terra, we were able to bring technology that increased by 2 to 3 times the productivity of the land, so we can create value on these land very quickly. Right now, because of past human activity or society activity, we have degraded more than 2 billion hectares of degraded land, and this is a big potential. It's considered it's a loss of about $10 trillion in the global economy, because you don't have these land used to produce goods and services that have a value, but they don't do it anymore. So there's big potential, and we estimate that about every dollar invested in restoration bring about $7 to $30 in economic benefits. So you can create a lot of value. And for us, in the past, it was seen as a cost to restore degraded land. But the reason why we started Trees of Life is to allow to democratize the fight against land degradation and climate change, so people, corporation, and institution can come and invest into a project, be part of the projects. And the business model was made so that we bring the capital, the technology, and the capacity building to these landholders. And when these new forests and agroforests grows, the profit from the nature positive commodities like timber, agri-food products, medicinal plants are shared equally between the Trees of Life partner and the landholders. But also 70% of the carbon removal credits are owned by the Trees of Life partners. So not only you make money by fighting climate change, but you also receive those credits to help you reach carbon neutrality or even carbon negativity, where you sequester more carbon than you emit, and you become a key player against the fight of climate change and the degradation of nature.
Interesting. So obviously you touched on a lot of things there, So I think what we're going to do is break down some of those things and sort of delve into them a little bit. I know Mark obviously talked about a lot of them. So just to kind of clarify, everyone watching, Justin Fox, Marc-Andre, Martin Baudouin Nadeau from Trees of Lives. So what basically Trees of Lives is a fund that is raising capital from investors on the backers platform. So you're live with your initial backers offering or your IBO. You're raising up to 1.5 million is the offering, and minimum investment's $100. Obviously, this is not financial advice, and do your own research, and if it's suitable, obviously look to invest. So we're not furtherance of a trade here, but you guys can definitely talk a little bit about what it is, that the benefits and stuff, and we'll get into that. but I'll go through the same sort of line of questions that Mark and I kind of went through yesterday. I think some of them are very appropriate, and it kind of will flesh a little bit of a little bit of where how we got here and what it is you guys do. So I'm gonna take a step back for you, Martin, because Mark answered this yesterday. But why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of yourself? Your career. Obviously your role, you're CEO of Restera, but your career. What kind of led you to where you are today? Where we don't need the trilogy, but maybe the Coles Notes version of what got you to where you are today.
Excellent, Justin. Well, I was born and raised on a dairy farm in Canada, so I was very
Okay.
close to land and to forest at very very young age. And my parents showed me that if you want this land to continue to produce and create value and bring value, but you need to take care of it. And to manage sustainably. And then between my college and my university degree, I went to work in the extractive sector, in the natural resource sector, and I've seen the impact that the exploitation of natural resource like minerals or oil and gas has on land. And it's very important that these natural resources we use it. Also wood or timber or food. It's very important. But it's even more important to use it sustainably to ensure future generation use it. And one thing I was seeing as we were mostly on the extractive mode. So we were extracting natural resources without thinking about what's going to happen with these land after. That's the reason why right now there's so much degraded land in the world, is that we were extracting the natural resources, but we were not thinking about what happened after. But these natural resources are very important because our whole economy is made around using and exploiting these natural resources. Everything we build, we create, we make is made of natural resources, or cars, or computer, or phone, or kitchen. Everything is made of natural resources. So
Right.
our whole economy around natural resources. So these are very important. So that's where I wanted to start to bring a solution so that we will continue to use it, but more sustainably. So to be able to restore this land, and so they will start producing goods and services again, and help these communities, these companies to be able to manage sustainably this land on the mid and long term. So that's where after that I did my bachelor degree at UBC in Vancouver on related to for international forestry. And I did work and study 1 year in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a model in the world of conservation and sustainable management of natural resources. They have their land still fit 70% forest. So and like a few decades ago it was about 30%. So they were able to increase the quantity of forest that they have and manage it more sustainably and continue to create value to the country. So that was a place where I was able to not only learn more about tropical ecosystem, but also about this new approach to conserve and manage more sustainably these natural ecosystem and resource. Then after that, came back, did a master degree on restoring mine sites growing, developing new technologies to grow forests directly on this mine site without much of input. And then I work also, I live a little bit in Ecuador, work in 4 countries in Africa. So I've seen the impact that when we don't manage sustainability, then what happens? You see this degraded landscape that start and the community start to have problem with food, water. When the drought season come in, there is no water left in the rivers. When you have a bigger storms with the climate, with climate change, what happened is that you don't have a natural buffer anymore to protect yourself. So they get more impacted also by these more extreme climatic conditions that we get with climate change. So when you think about all what we are doing, it was very important for me to bring that solution to be able to do these activities at very large scale. so we can fix the problem and create value and to our society and to the communities and all stakeholders involved, including investor that comes in and come invest with us into these projects.
Interesting. So you kind of touched on obviously the problem that you're solving. Obviously, you've got, what was the term used, like extractive technologies or various, extractive, right? There whether it's minerals
Extractive
or
economy, basically. Like
extractive economy.
it was just extracting,
Right.
and we're not taking care of the land. We need to go back to this. Like we need to stop doing money extracting resources out of the planet, but starting to do money restoring the planet.
Right. So it's more of it obviously is more longer term sustainable, obviously, right? If you just extract forever,
You're
at
not
some point,
extracting forever.
yeah, there is no, yeah, exactly, right? There's an end point, right? There's a breaking point where there is no more, right? So obviously you need to create more sustainable. So let's talk a little bit about so obviously that's the problem, right? You're looking at the fact that the extractive industry is unsustainable. So let's talk a little bit about what your approach is, and maybe where Trees of Lives, Veritas Terra, and how what your approach is, and then maybe how it's different from from other approaches, right? Obviously, I mean, this isn't new. I mean, I remember hearing about deforestation 20, 30, as a kid in school, right? You hear about this sort of thing. What is it about what you're doing that is better? What is it you're doing? Why is it better? And how is it different, I guess, is the simple question.
But it's like in the project we do, for example, in Peru. But we are in 4 countries right now. In 4 countries, we are doing restoration activities, but also in 6 countries in total, because we have other office that we opened this year in US and Europe. And but for example, in Peru, one thing that is very different from us is that we bring a lot of high technologies. So when we get into the countries, we build technological infrastructure where we can that include biotech lab, high tech tree factories that produce all these plant material and biofertilizers that allow, and also special substrate that allow to establish these new forests and agroforests on their land very quickly. And for example, usually with the biofertilizers, we can increase by 70% the survival, but also double the growth of the ecosystem, the trees, the plants, the agroforest ecosystem that we establish. And so, for example, cocoa plantation usually it takes 3 to 4 years to start producing, but with the technology, we are able to start producing after 18 to 24 months. So it creates a lot of value more quickly. Or the same thing on a timber species that take normally 25 years to be ready to be cut down and used as building material for mass timber, for example. But with the technology, we are able to do to be ready within 18 years. So we save maybe 6-7 years on the rotation. So for the same value of the tree, so it creates a lot more value on these land quickly. So that's the first point that we bring. And for us, that was very important, because if you want to transform a cost of restoring a land into an impact investment that generates returns, you need to create value quickly. So you can bring economic opportunities, cash returns related to that more quickly, and benefits the communities and both the investor. So that was the first part that was very important. The second one is that we have developed a digital platform that right now it's the version 2.0 that we are working on, and this digital platform to be able to scale our activities at very large scale, it generates a lot of data. Like the inventories of the land, the land, what is the land right now, producing the biotechnologies with the restoration activities, signing the contracts with the landholders that we are working it with the communities, but also doing the monitoring after that and everything. So this platform allows to better manage and analyze this data, so we can scale very at very large scale these activities that have more impact. And also it allows for any partners in Trees of Life to follow the activities that is happening in the field. So in the past, a lot of these projects they were not very transparent. So you thought,
Right.
oh, someone planted a tree there, but what happened to this tree after 2 or 5 years? But with the platform, you are able to follow directly the activities in the field and the growth of your assets and the new forest and agroforest, and see also all the projection and the real return related to financial, carbon, biodiversities. And we also follow 2 or 3 metrics for each of the 17 sustainable development goals. So you can see the impact, the returns that you get from your investment. So it become very interesting for any partners that's want to come in. And right now we are the only one that can bring financial returns with at the same time carbon removal credits that allow to help you reach carbon neutrality. And I hope others would follow. But this is very interesting because, for example, for me, I invested in Trees of Life 25,000. I'm putting in 20,000 more right now. For in total, I will have $45,000 in Trees of Life, and with that, within 6 years, I will reach carbon negativity since I was born.
Oh
Six
yeah.
years from now. So for 6 years from now, I will start becoming a key
You
player.
won't tell anyone how old you are, right?
I'm 36 years old.
I,
And
I was
so,
gonna.
but
I was joking.
for
Yeah.
example, just a $15,000 investment, it can help you help any Canadian reach be carbon neutral for the next 30 years
Right.
based on our emission per capita. So not only you create value on the financial side for yourself or later on in 5, 10, 15 years, but you also have a huge impact on your carbon footprints and on fighting on fighting this crisis that could cause a lot of problem to our generation and the future ones.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you talked to obviously about a couple of different things that you guys do. So, a question that I think Mark and I talked about, and it's interesting. You talked about the sustainable or the SDGs, right? Sustainable Development Goals. Just so everyone understands, that's what SDGs are. There's 17 of them. We won't go through them all, but Mark did kind of touch on some of them from the World Health Organization. What are you guys are obviously new, right? Relatively new, um, but you've got other people yourself. I mean, obviously, as well as others that are included, advisors and experts. Tell us a little bit about who's involved in this project of Veritas Terra and Trees of Life, and what experience they're bringing and expert insight to the table.
Excellent. But if you look at Verdes Terra team, the technical team, we have up to 50 years experience in the field of work in over 80 countries and on 4 continents. So the experience is huge. That's the reason why when we build a company, we wanted to bring all these people together to bring new technology and the know-how that we have to fight the problems. So they are agronomists, engineer, agroforestry economists, ecologists. We have also people specialize in finance so it's and also on the social aspect of all our activities. And
Exactly.
also, so it's a very mix of multidisciplinary team that is working together to bring these opportunities on the table. Like I said, some of our team member are in their late I would say career. So they have 45 to 50 years experience. So it brings a lot of package, and we also have some younger people that bring a lot of new ways, new innovation on the table. So it's mixing that together that bring the stars in Vegas there, and to be able to bring these opportunities for trees of life to restore these land at large scale.
And
Perfect.
that's the magic, of all this exchange. It's tomorrow we're going to meet Denis Buteau, who's chief program of Peru. So you'll be able to hear all of his expertise, and then we're going to do that like for the next 30 days. So I mean, we're going to bring so much people here, people from the advisory, people, like our director, people, with all sorts of expertise. So you'll be able to ask them, question to them,
Yeah.
and can feel, like their expertise.
Interesting. I love that. So I was hoping you would name drop. So you did throw one name there, Mark. Do you want to just
Tomorrow.
let shout outs to the experts, Martin?
Well, we have Louis Gay, who is a former diplomat ambassador of Canada, has worked in Africa and Latin America his whole life. So he's part of our team. He specializes in social responsibility. He's our chief durability officer. So everything that is related to social environmental responsibilities, that is related to the impact that we create. Also is involved on that, and everything on the relationship with all the stakeholders. So he's taking care of our communities we are working with. He's taking care of all the certification that we go get. We have a impact mark certification that we got for the impact that the business is bringing. That is huge at different level. We are in the process of becoming a B corporation. So he's taking care of all these aspects. On the digital platform side, we have Vincent Crépin, has more than 25 years experience as a CTO. So he has built many different. He has been in the tech sector for decades. He has mobilized a team like the cream of the cream that we say. Each person is worth probably 10 other developers. So we are lucky to have them on board. So this is just few example of few of our team member that we have.
And maybe touch a little bit about Benoit Limoges. Like they're working together with Vincent. With all expertise in biodiversity.
Yeah, but Benoit is right now is our IFLR director. So he's the one from Canada that support Denis in Peru and all related to these large scale forest landscape restoration activities. He also has worked a lot in Latin America, Europe, and Africa. So with over 30 years experience, specialized in everything that is related to biodiversity, ecological services, that restoring an ecosystem. You generate a lot of biodiversity, so you increase the resilience against climate change. So he's the one that bring a lot of value on this side. Also, we follow the natural capital value that is generated by your projects, and is the one that has brought all these the knowledge to be able to develop this measurement that we follow into the projects to see how much quality hectares that we create, how much value of natural capital that is created into this project, which bring value to our society.
Awesome. So yeah, there's obviously an amazing team there. So we'll as Mark said, over the next coming weeks, months, we're gonna meet a bunch of them. Hopefully, we'll have you back on here as well, Martin, over the next little while. I know you're busy. Where are you right now? I know one time I spoke to you, were you in Peru or Costa Rica? And now are you back?
Probably in Peru or
Peru?
in Glasgow. Maybe in Glasgow,
Okay,
because
Glasgow.
I was at COP26 in early November. So
Right. Where are you now?
I'm in Quebec City right now.
Back in Quebec City. Okay, perfect. So you're home for the holidays, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
Maybe Martin, you can touch a little bit on the COP26. What happened there, and like what we got from there, and the big.
There was COP26. There was a lot of good announcement. For example, the Natural Capital Investment Alliance that was created that wants to mobilize $100 billion to invest in natural capital, like project that we have to fight climate change. Also, there was 144 countries that signed a pledge to ensure that by 2030 there won't be any deforestation anymore. So this bring and they will invest $14 billion to and for us, we need to remember that for every hectare we restore, we protect about 0.7 hectares. So there was very good news on that, on the nature-based solution side, where there was a big movement. People are moving. People are seeing that it has a very important role to play on not only on mitigation but also on adaptation.
Right.
And you see, it's good to see all these corporations that are moving quickly with these new net zero objectives. So by 2025, 2030, 2040, 2050. So they are working out to reduce their emission, but also they will need some carbon removal to be able to reach that net zero. And project and business like us will have a very important role to play in ensuring these companies are able to reach this goal on net zero objective that they have on that side.
And then
For
and
sure,
another.
one thing we see is that we are addict to fossil fuel. So the transition is not happening as quick as it should be.
Right.
But that means that nature-based solution has an even more important role to play on the short term to ensure we compensate for the longer transition that that governments and the international community is taking towards renewable energy and phasing out all fossil fuel use and everything else. But I mean, it's you need to remember it's 200 countries that negotiate with each other, so it's not easy. But there was some good progress over there. They put fossil fuel phasing out fossil fuel for the first time in the last letter, the last at the end of the COP that every countries have signed. So we see that it's progressing, but I wish
Right.
it would be more quickly.
Right.
But the truth is the one that will make the big difference is people and companies. So they are the one that they will change. They are the one that will bring solution to the
Right.
fight. And that's the reason why we all need to become carbon negative, because that's where we're gonna be able to win that fight. So every individual, corporation, institution need to work hard to reduce, but also offset the remaining emission that they have, so we can win that fight.
Perfect. So I'm gonna ask a question. This is kind of I like. It's not a curveball. It's not. I think that you're the perfect person to answer. So somebody coming to the opportunity, to the offering, the initial backers offering, they're looking at the opportunity. Can you break down in sort of a very simple terms what it is somebody is investing in if they were to participate? What is the potential sort of revenue, or how is the business model generating a return, and what might those returns be? I guess that I'll ask those questions to you. What is it that somebody is getting as a unit holder?
Excellent. But if you invest in Trees of Life, you get limited partnership units that increase in value over time, because when we sign the contracts with the landholders, there is a co-ownership of the biological asset from the trees and these trees generate more and more revenues and profit over time. So as you buy your units, uh, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, 30 years from now, these units will be worth a lot more money, especially that they have carbon removal credits linked to it. So as the market continue to develop in these companies and individual are looking for solution to become carbon neutral, the thing is right now that we see is that the demand is growing more quickly than the offer for the carbon removal and the carbon offset credits. So it will generate a lot of value for any partners that come in and invest in Trees of Life right now and in the coming years. The second thing is that you also the when these new forests and agroforests start producing these nature positive commodities like agri-food products like mangoes, banana, any type of fruits, coffee, cocoa, or anything, and it's sold on the market, you get half of the profit generated by these commodities that come from the new forests and agroforests that we restore. So and at that point, there is a part that is reinvested into new restoration, so to multiply the impact and the carbon removal and the financial returns over time of the activities. And there's another part that goes back to the investor into annual cash distributions. So not only you have a value on your units, but you also get annual cash distributions as these revenues come in over time. So that's two of the financial returns that you get by investing into trees of life on that side.
Plus, you get the carbon offset. So
Yeah.
you get
You
the
get the
interest.
certificate every year that we certify the carbon removal credits. You get your certificate that show that you have offset that amount of your emissions, and so you can show that drinking wine with your friends or beer, showing that you are doing the right thing.
Right. And we joked actually about maybe putting those into some sort of NFT. So you could literally be and show your digital wallet, be like, here's my shares in Trees of Life or my ownership units, and here's my carbon offset credit, right?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. So a quick, you sort of alluded to this. It's obviously there's the financial side or benefits, right? But what are some of the non kind of financial benefits that aside from being able to show off your carbon credits, what are some of the other non kind of financial benefits that somebody would get as a unit holder?
Excellent. But the way we separate it, we separate into three different type of returns: for yourself, for the communities, and for the planet.
Right.
And if you look at yourselves, it's your financial returns. We talk about your carbon offset credits. So that's related to the returns that you get directly for yourself and your carbon footprint and your finance and everything. But when you look at communities, you can see also the impact we have on the revenues and the profit generated to the community. So that's another returns that you get. These people are usually close to poverty, or they're not very rich people. Within 10 to 15 years, the forest has created, the agroforest has created so much value that they goes to a mid class to high mid class level, and being able to send their kids to the best universities and in the country. So and some of our team members have shown that in other projects in the past. So it's something that have been proven before. So that's some of the financial return you can see that you have on other people. And that's a way that we reduce the social inequalities, because right now with climate change and the land degradation, what is happening is that the richest people are the ones that are contributing the most. So they are contributing. The 10 richest people contribute for about 50% of all the impact. But the one that suffer the most are the poor, the people that are more poor, that are poorer. So that creates it's not only a climate and ecological crisis, it's also a social crisis. But with this project, we are able to reduce that social inequality on that side. You also see the impact that we have on biodiversity. I was talking about that earlier, on the quality hectares and on the natural capital value. And for me, biodiversity is even more important. It's a bigger crisis than the climate, because the reason why we are able to live, it's because of biodiversity.
Right.
Everything we eat is biodiversity. Everything is related to that. So with this project, we are able to create more biodiversity, to better manage it, so that we can reduce the risk related to the loss of nature. I don't know if you know, but the World Economic Forum has published a report that say that more than half of the global economy is linked to nature and is at risk because of the degradation of biodiversity.
Right.
Just to give you an example of the impact it has. And finally, when you look at the not because you have offset some of your emission towards carbon neutrality, is that you also allow to avoid future economic damage caused by the emission that by your emission. So it's called the scientists right now the value that we use for the social cost of carbon right now is it's $120 US per ton. So it's some say it's more than 1,000, but we keep it very conservative based on scientific data. And so that means that every tons that you offset with your investment, you avoid $120. Every dollar invested, no, sorry, every tons that you avoid emitting, you avoid $120 of future economic damage caused by flooding, by fires, by extreme climatic conditions, and everything related to that. So that's some of the return you get. Also, that you ensure that you don't have any you don't have any negative impact in the future into the economy because of what you emitting as a person, your carbon footprint.
So it's like proactive, almost proactive, where avoidance today will reduce future costs by, like you said, one to $120, right? So dollar spent to remove I won't do your math. You did it yourself. So anyways, so that okay, so interesting.
Basically, Justin, basically, by investing in trees of life, I mean, instead you're making money while, reducing the difference, between the poorest people and the richest people. So
right.
it's all good. I mean, it's triple bottom line.
It's really impact. It's real impact investment, and I will just give you an example. I did some research on the SP 500.
Okay.
In 2017, the SP 500, the 500 biggest companies that were part of the SP 500.
Yeah.
When I look at their emission that they did, their GHG emissions during that year, the 2017 year,
so greenhouse gas emissions, yeah.
And I evaluated that that year in 2017, they have caused $217 billion in future economic damage with the emission that they have. So someone that invested on the stock market, yes, that year was a good year. They brought some financial returns to yourself as an investor. But at the same time, it's destroying the future. And
to the tune of 200 billion or whatever you said, right?
So it's impoverishing your kids and your grandkids. You make a lot of money on quick money, but you're impoverishing your kids and your grandkids. And this is something that we hope with Trees of Life that the financial sector will follow, is that we need to not consider just the financial return on the short term and the risk related to on the financial side on the short term, but we need to look at the overall impact on the short, mid, and long term to see is it really worth it to make that
kind of money
quickly as we do with these investments. And so a lot of people don't know, but the money they have right now at the bank is impoverishing their kids, and it is sad because I wish the financial sector would be more proactive but they are working on it. I know they are working on it right now. But it's funny, when you go to the bank, they ask you, they identify your amount of risk, but they don't ask you, are you ready to destroy the future of your kids, or you want to create wealth and prosperity to them? So it's like,
it's good we have backers with us so that we can help IBO our Trees of Life and be able to give that opportunity to a lot of people to be active actors in this climate change mitigation, right?
Yeah, participants, right? They're able to be a part of the future, right? To now, hopefully, all of the S&P 500, in the future will be carbon neutral or potentially carbon negative, right? So that's kind of
cool, invite them to join us and participate in Trees of Life. They're all welcome.
There you go, all welcome. So okay, we'll kind of a couple things I have. So one is, do you want to just talk? I know Mark talked about it yesterday, but maybe new audience today. Talk about a couple of the projects that you're working on currently, or have in the past, and maybe as a participant or investor in this, again, not financial advice, do your own research, but if somebody were to participate in the initial offering, what is the where is the money going? What is the project that you've kind of pegged that you're going to be doing sort of with that money? Go ahead,
But
give us a little bit of
but Trees of Life is brand new from 2021. So right now the showcasing of the whole business model with the first Trees of Life investment this year, we are doing 200 hectares in Peru. So the
okay.
showcasing of all of that we are doing it in Peru. Verestera has invested in Peru since 2019. So we have developed a lot of relationship with NGO, government, private sector. So local communities, associations. So everything is in place. We have a potential of over 50,000 hectares of restoration right now in the country. So what happened is if people invest in Trees of Life, it goes directly, is directly invested within a month in the field in Peru right now, restoring land, signing new contracts with the landholders, it keep on going, creating more asset and more value on these land in the Amazon side of Peru, because we are located in two regions in Peru. That's called Selva Central and Selva Norte. So it's in four departments. It's called Ucayali, Huánuco, San Martin, and Loreto. And so the investment is done directly over there to produce the technologies, the plant material, to do the operation in the field, and to also give incentive the first few years to the landholders, so they have good revenues until the project are profitable. So they receive to manage sustainably the land. So that's where the money goes. It's mostly all the money that is invested. And but we have been doing business development in Panama and Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, also the DRC in Africa. So and also we started to adapt the business model for Canada and Europe. So we hope to be at least in 5 countries within. We hope that Trees of Life will have an investment in 5 countries, at least 5 countries within 10 years. So the reason why right now we work more in the tropics is because we can create value, impact, and financial more attractive financial returns over there because of the productivity of the ecosystem. So they don't have winters. In Canada, we only have 3 to 4 months of growing season. Over there, it's 12 months. So we
Right.
can create a lot more impact on climate, on biodiversity, on people, on the planet, but also create more financial returns
For the same dollar invested,
more
basically.
stakeholders involved. So that's the reason why. But as the carbon and the biodiversity market develop more, and also the water, because water is becoming also an issue in many places, we will be able to also work a lot in Canada and Europe. And one thing we are working on is that we are working for all big development project, like infrastructure project, renewable projects, is that to offer them a possibility to become carbon neutral and positive impact on biodiversity, because all these projects, they have an impact on a negative impact usually on biodiversity, and also they are emitting carbon. So we want to offer them a possibility that we do a local project like in Canada that is more costly, because and bring less financial return in the short term. But they can also and also Trees of Life can co-invest in this project, and the project can invest in Trees of Life, that we are doing different projects around the world, so we could create the value to ensure this project have positive impact on all level, but also creating value at the world stage at the same time.
I think you talked with the Prime Minister of Quebec, like during COP26 for the third link. Uh, like that's an infrastructure. They said that they wanted to have carbon neutral. I think he said.
Yeah, but I share my ideas with him when I was at COP26. Also with the Minister of Environment of Canada, Stephen Guilbeault. And right now in Quebec, they just launched maybe 2 weeks ago that all project of more than $100 million in the related to transport will have to be carbon neutral. So that
Wow.
means that they will have to plant trees and and buy carbon removal credits to be able to reach carbon neutrality. So
Right.
it's a sector that is developing very quickly, and we all need to play a role. And the with the Trees of Life, you all have a initial backers offering. You have the opportunity to join with investment between $100 and $2,500, and so if you feel that would be great that you join the venture with us to create value for everyone.
Perfect. So you know what? That kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about. So a little bit on the backers experience, right? So you talked a little bit about what the offer. So obviously you got the initial backers offering, your IBO, Trees of Life partnership units. You're selling them on the backers platform. People can invest anywhere between 100 and 2,500. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on sort of the concept of backers and how this opens up the opportunity for people to participate beyond maybe where it was previously, or what are your thoughts on
But
that?
for sure, Trees of Life, did not is not public yet, so it's not. We didn't do a IPO, initial public offering. Right now in Canada, we were on the exempt market, and because of the quantity of paperwork to do, because we are not public yet, we were not able to offer smaller numbers. And the advantage with the initial backer offering is that it reduces a lot of the paperwork, so we are able to reduce the administrative costs and then allow to do these investment with smaller numbers between $100 and $2,500. So that's a game changer, because it's not everyone that can start putting 5,000, 15,000, $30,000,
Right.
100,000, because we have some investor that did up to $100,000. But that's a game changer, so that everyone could invest into these projects for sure.
Perfect.
No, we're
Awesome.
trying to get that to everyone. So I mean, everyone can almost everyone can go like 100, 200, 300. It's very accessible right now because of backers.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then we love it. So, I mean, this is a prime example of why we started Backers, is to facilitate, opportunities like this where, everyone now can participate in in your case, rejuvenation of, this land, right? And reduce carbon off, or reduce carbon emissions, or become carbon neutral. Or you said, with little as 50,000, give or take, you're essentially offsetting your entire life's worth of carbon emissions, right? Maybe some others have higher emissions. All those that drive the giant SUVs and whatnot,
Yeah,
right, might
put a
have
little bit
slightly
more.
higher. Yeah, they put a little more out there. But me and my kids, we go every weekend just chopping down trees for no other reason, just to. No, I'm just kidding. Yes. No, but so now everyone can participate, right?
And another advantage is because it's now accessible to cryptocurrency too. So
Yeah, exactly, right. So people
this
can.
is a big advantage for those that are eco-anxious, that do a lot of investment in crypto, and have interest to start doing these investment, or more green, more that have more positive impact on all level. But Trees of Life is a very attractive product for sure for those that are looking for this kind of investment.
I think
Awesome.
like Bitcoin, like is the second or third largest country consumer of energy or something like this. So like if you put just a little bit of your crypto back to Trees of Life, I mean, you can offset all your emission doing this. So it's very give back to the planet, and I think everyone needs to do his part.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, guys, really appreciate you joining, Martin. So I'll just do a quick. So Martin Baudouin Nadeau, CEO of Virtus Terra, and Trees of Lives, obviously, is the fund. You guys launched your initial backers offering just yesterday, day before, basically. Already have a couple from looking at the stats. Few people have already started to come in, so that's amazing. So congrats to you guys on getting the ball rolling. Marc-Andre Colum, obviously Chief of Corporate Affairs with Veritas Terra as well. So thank you guys. I'm Justin Fox, founder and CEO of Backers. Obviously the platform that you guys are using to raise money. So if anyone else is out there watching, I'm going to throw a last little pitch. If you're watching and you want to do something just like these guys are doing, raising capital for your business, your venture, your project, or something of this nature, more of a investment fund style project, check us out, backers.ca. But guys, I really appreciate it. Mark, I know we're going to have this same conversation 20 times over. So I'm going to be, by the end of this, I'm going to be an expert. I could probably host it alone and answer my own questions. Having heard by the end of this, I'll be like, okay, so Martin said this. Okay, perfect. That's my answer. But no, I really appreciate it. I think the project is amazing. I think what you guys are doing is awesome. So all the people out there, obviously check it out. If it's applicable or fits in your wheelhouse, take a look at it. Obviously these guys have put a lot of time, effort, and thought with their experts, with their team, in what they're doing. So guys, really appreciate it. Enjoy your evenings, I guess. You guys have any one last comments, questions, anything I missed?
To be able to accomplish our mission, we need to mobilize all of you guys with us. We need to create this movement. And
right.
So please join us, and we will change the world. We will create a better world for everyone.
Perfect. Mark, any final?
Yeah, I agree. It's just not like the big pockets that will change the world. It's a lot of the small drops that makes a river, that make ocean. So let's think that way. Let's just be all that drop that will change the world and change the way we will live in the future.
Be the drop. There you go.
Be the drop.
Be the drops.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, get your Trees of Lives token. Awesome, guys. Martin, Mark, really appreciate it. Enjoy your afternoons. I know you guys are in cold Quebec. We're in, but I appreciate you guys being here. You know what? I think what I'd love to do, maybe once sort of we get this going over the next little bit, maybe we should do a trip down to Peru or Costa Rica and do some content down there for the next couple rounds once we get things rolling. I want to go down. Maybe selfishly, I just want to go. So it'll be
you would love it. You will love it for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Especially the food in Peru. The food is delicious.
Yeah, my aunt was Peruvian, so didn't eat a lot of the food, but definitely very nice. So appreciate it. Awesome, guys. Enjoy your afternoon. Everyone else, we'll see you guys again tomorrow, I guess, right? So
yep.
There you go. Bye.